The less said about this bathroom experience, the better. It does suit me. Well, we didn't die. That's nice. If I were a mythological pit, where would I be? There's a lot of fire, that I've noticed. In fact, if we look this way, we can see many more. Welcome to Armenia. I'm being tailed by two friends. I haven't got anything for you, I'm afraid, guys. Other than all the love in the world. It's okay. You good boy. We're going to be travelling all the way across Armenia from the south, which is where I am right now, all the way back up to the capital city of Yerevan. At least that is the plan, but I'm already not 100% sure where I am. I'm looking for a bridge. I do kind of feel like I'm walking into just the middle of nowhere. I've been to the middle of nowhere multiple times on this channel, but it feels more like it right now. I keep on checking my pocket to make sure the keys to my car are still there. That would be a bad time. Armenia is nestled in between Azerbaijan, Russia, Turkey and Iran. Kind of in the middle. And it hasn't had what you could call the greatest history with almost any of those countries. I suppose because Armenia is classically the oldest Christian country in the world, I think. And because it's so small, when I'm looking at all the mountains, I'm never actually sure what country I'm looking at. I can't quite tell because I don't know how far those mountains are away, but they are either in Azerbaijan or they're in Iran. I don't think of snow-capped mountains when I think of Iran. But if that's true, it's very beautiful. I did kind of wonder where that music was coming from. They're enjoying the view just as much as I am. I mean, it's definitely a signpost. Admittedly, it doesn't have any words on it. And even if it did, I wouldn't be able to read them. There would be worse places to be lost though. I mean, from a scenery standpoint, from a realistic standpoint, it wouldn't be ideal. But I'm going to follow that car's music. I feel like that's got to be the way. Yes, let's explore Armenia. I couldn't have said it better myself. So this is old Khndzoresk. Really old. It looks like they call it Cave Town, and you can understand why. 15,000 people used to live here. And they did so up until the 1950s when the Soviets said that it wasn't civilized and kicked them all out. To get over there, you got to cross over a gorge. And I can see a very sketchy bridge. Come on, Armenia. Is it cold? Is it hot? Is it snowing? Or is there a forest fire? Because I feel like I've witnessed all of those so far. I think that fire that I saw was just controlled. I'll tell you what, this bridge has got a bit of a bounce to it. Like a real bounce to it. I'm sure it's perfectly safe. You know, I don't necessarily plan to go to caves all the time, but I do certainly end up at a lot of caves. I read one place that it was 15,000 people, but I read another place it was more like 8,000 people that lived here, but any amount of thousands of people here, it's crazy. You'd have anywhere between 10 and 20 people apparently living in each of these dwellings. There was a cheese factory up here. They had their own bar, which makes sense. They had churches, schools. It was a village, you know, a real village. I wonder what the bathroom situation was like. Let's not think about that. And they had a big series of pulleys and rope ladders to help them get around. And this wasn't thousands of years ago or anything. This was the 17th and 18th century. And that's when it was fully occupied. And then it was partially occupied up until the 1950s. But there were fitters and flea. Oh, they've all got this design of a window up top, I guess, just to help get some light in the situation here. But I guess caves are cool in the summer. I don't know if they're warm in the winter. I suppose if you've got a little fire going in a fireplace. And you could always just make your house bigger if you did a bit of excavating, but I bet there's a lot of risk involved with that, right? Because cave-ins must have been a real problem, something that happened, surely. And you're quite literally on top of each other. So I guess there could be a house above you or below you. I mean, this is just one little area, and there's so many caves and holes. Incredible. I mean, even now, New Khndzoresk is remote. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So you have to imagine that this place would have been incredibly remote. Everything around here is also brambles. It's pretty inhospitable, frankly. Not just because it's not flat. These must have been some tough people. I bet they never thought that their homes would become a tourist attraction, an oddity. They were just here doing what they needed to do to survive, I suppose. Right the way up there on the cliffs, I can still see caves and holes. And it's easy for us to say, man, they live in caves. But I bet to be there a couple of hundred years ago in its heyday, but it was homely. You could probably smell the food cooking, hear the laughter of people drinking beer in the little bar they had. But it was quite nice. I'd have wanted to have stopped the night, for sure. It's kind of incredible that this is the best option they had. But it has to have been. No one would have done this if this wasn't the best solution to the problem of where you're going to live. Well, I want to know though is where are the hidden secret tunnels? Escape tunnels. Tunnels with all the treasure in. There's somewhere. I've walked all the way back and I'm absolutely dying. Whew. I didn't realise the whole of Armenia is a high altitude country. So it's all about 6,000 feet up. I don't think my thin blood is cut out for 6,000 feet, if I'm honest. But made it. Doing alright. Hanging out with this old train cart, I guess. Catch my breath. The less said about this bathroom experience, the better. Let's just say I was happy that the bathroom was there. And leave it at that. This dog's been following me for about a mile down this road. I want to see if he wants to hop in, hang out. I wish I had some treats for him. I don't have anything for you. I'm sorry, mate. But you're very handsome. Yeah? I really don't want to hit the dog. Yeah, I'm going to try and find somewhere to leave this car. I think it's this way. Well, this is all kind of looking a bit official. There's definitely a river, which bodes well. My friend's still hanging out with me, so that's nice. Always good to have an accomplice. Some company when I've really no idea where the hell I am. I think we're going to go with the name Mr. Handsome. This is the Shakti waterfall, and I'm lucky it's turned on because they divert all the water here to a hydroelectric plant. Oh no, I'm soaking wet. So they turn the waterfall off essentially. But it's on right now and that's what matters. Looks like Mr. Handsome found some people eating some food and has decided to join them. You can't blame him, can you?
The first stage was, I think, the first person we saw being able to often helps, like first with the wrist, and then here, and then here, and then on the head, and then off, and then...
Well, the plan was to go on the Wings of Tatev, which is the world's largest and the highest reversible cable car, but the wind, I've just been told, I went to the ticket office, they've told me the wind is too high, so they're not running the cable car right now. In fairness, it is very windy. I mean, if they say it's too dangerous to ride it right now, then who am I to tell them that they're wrong? But we'll see. She told me to come back at 9:55, which is in like 3 minutes. So I don't know how much the weather is going to change in 3 minutes, but we'll find out. Hey, you're nice. You have got a nice face. Thank you so much. It's safe to ride, apparently. Merci. It's pretty windy. I'm sure it's safe. Well, we're going. If I'm perfectly honest about it, that was harrowing. And I'm stuck up here until 11:30. So hopefully there's some things to do and see. Tatev Monastery was built in the 4th century. That's a long time ago. It's definitely been ransacked a few times since then, and they are currently trying to restore it to its former glory. But it just kind of goes to show how old Christianity is in Armenia. I mean, this church is 1,600 years old. They were building monasteries up in the mountains. This pillar is kind of what the church is known for. I'm pretty sure it's this pillar. If it's not, I'll refilm this at the actual pillar. It's called a gravit, and it was a pillar that somehow it wasn't exactly attached to the ground so that it would move, and it's meant to be able to detect both seismic activity, so it's meant to be able to tell if there's an earthquake coming. It's also meant to be able to tell if there's an army on its way because of the movement of the earth of so many people. And I tell you what, sometimes there were armies on the way. An ancient seismograph, I guess, is what you'd call it. That's some high technology. That's some good thinking. I mean, it's worth coming up here just for the views, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to come up here. Explore the back regions. At this time of year, it certainly feels rocky and craggy and coarse and dry and snowy as well, and windy. But I imagine in summer this is all lush and green. But it really is a very good looking country. They kind of just let you explore, which is fun. There was some information coming through the speakers as we rode the Wings of Tatev, and it said that there's a little monastery down below that has, and I was as surprised as anyone, secret tunnels that lead all the way up to the monastery. There's secret tunnels here. There's more than one. They're not telling us about all the secret tunnels. Where's the treasure? That's what I want to know. Where's the hidden artifacts? Oh no, they're using German technology. A sledgehammer. My guess is a chimney, because also hole in roof. You know? That doesn't make any sense because this is a fireplace. You can see the burn, like the dark. And they're literally using it as a fireplace right now. So I think they're using old brochures to start fires with. That and the wood. Makes sense. Makes sense to me. At its height, there would have been 1,000 monks up here. Just being monks, hanging out, worshipping the Lord. There's an old mill that's around on the slopes. 1,000 people is a lot of people to feed. Even though it's so windy, it's noticeably warmer out here than it is inside any of the buildings. Oh, it's a winged cross that would have been on top of the seismic tower. This is some of the monks hanging out, having a drink, making stuff, grinding food maybe, doing something with a jar. I'm not a historian, I'm interested in history. So working some kind of device is enough information for me. Time to get mildly worried again and make my way back to the car. Well, we didn't die. That's nice. It's nice to be out of the wind. Okay, now it's time. We're going to drive all the way back up north towards Yerevan. We've got a couple of stops to make along the route. Let's go. Now. Let's do it now. But first it's time for breakfast, which is possibly the driest thing I've ever eaten in my entire life, but I do need something to eat. And now, to wash that down, I found a drink. It's time for Armenia Pop in a Bar, where we try a weird drink or food for the first time. I think this is a walnut flavoured soda. I hope it's that. That doesn't sound great, but I hope it's at least only that. Is this a flattering angle? Gee. Do I need to do something special to open this? That's definitely fizzy. That's pretty good. It tastes like Coca-Cola. Or like a cola. That's what it tastes like. It's like Coke. You know, in a funny way, I'm a bit disappointed it doesn't just taste like walnuts. But I am glad it's nice because I'm thirsty. Alright, Armenia, your strange sodas. I give this a good rating. It's like an 8 out of 10. Just stopped the car. There's this huge frozen lake just here on the side of the road. It was a bit sketchy, I'll be honest. Oh. How can you not stop and have a look though? You know, I've just stopped at the side of the road just for a couple minutes because my nerves are just frayed. Also, I don't know if you can see behind me, that's just gone past. There's a lot of police cars here and not many speed signs. So I never know exactly what speed I'm meant to be going. And I'm just driving slow, which means there's a lot of overtaking happening and and there's a lot of potholes. Alright, I can't just stay here. I've got to carry on. So I'm at my mid-drive across the country stop because I've come to a place where I've heard there's a bit of a strange phenomenon, so I'm here to check it out. I think it's around here. I think it's that. I'm not sure. I will say that this was on the way, just about. Arguably I had to go a completely different route, but all in the right direction. This is it. This is the reason I've come all this way. This part of Armenia is really famous for mineral water and for special properties of the water, and the water gets exported all around the world. Although they did just find that there's a lot of arsenic in some of the mineral water from Armenia, but let's not even consider that, that's fine. But here there's a big pool, a big bath for you to go into, full of the mineral water. I'm sure it's got lots of healing properties that are very useful, that I could probably do with. And this is the spring itself. And what's meant to be special about this water is that it comes up and it's fizzy. And everyone knows that fizzy water is better than flat water. That's just a scientific fact. Yeah, That's weird. Like, not just bubbly, the water is fizzy like a soda would be fizzy. Like, it's carbonated, fully carbonated water. Where's the gas coming from? I've got so many questions. Was it safe to drink quite a lot of it? Who knows? Who'd have thought? Only in Armenia, the home of natural fizzy water. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Another hour and a half and I'll be at my final destination for the day. Nice stretch of the legs. Let's get back on the road. There's always steps. That's ancient aliens if I ever saw ancient aliens. Come on. I have to admit, even for how important this monastery is, and interesting, it's got some interesting stories about it as well. This view was the real reason I wanted to come here. That's Mount Ararat. It's in Turkey. Apparently Noah's Ark is on top of it. That's what I heard. So I'm willing to believe. I don't know which one is Mount Ararat, or if the whole thing's Mount Ararat. My guess is that Noah's Ark's up that bit. What an incredible view. Before being a monastery, this was a prison. And St. Gregor was one of the prisoners there. He was kept in a pit for 13 years. And he was fed by a kind Christian lady who would come and secretly give him some food. Until one day, he healed the king. They say he had madness, or perhaps that he had the head of a boar. I choose to believe he had the head of a boar, but regardless of what happened, the king converted, and so did Armenia. Where's the pit? That's what I want to see. Show me the pit. If I were a mythological pit, where would I be? Through this mysterious door, perhaps? So it wasn't long after Gregory did his healing stuff through God that they converted this place into a church, into a place of worship. And then eventually, I think in the 17th century, that's when Khor Virap was actually built itself as it is now. I wonder if this is for views of Mount Ararat. And Khor Virap monastery itself is apparently the most visited pilgrimage site in Armenia. So it does hold some religious significance. I don't know what the deal with the stacking stones is. I wonder if Gregory could see Mount Ararat from his imprisonment. That would be devastating, right? You're confined and you're constantly looking at the ultimate sign of freedom. Very peaceful. Even if I can see a random forest fire in the distance. Is it a forest fire? Is it just a controlled fire? It's definitely fire. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. Nature will solve that, sort it right out. I won't go into the main room, the main monastery, because I think there's a wedding going on. I don't want to intrude too much. No filming allowed inside, but I did take a quick peek. It'll be alright. Hello. Yeah? I like you too. Hey? I was just about to tell them that I'm the cat finder extraordinaire. Do you agree? Yeah? Don't you agree? Better than any monastery. Just a cat. Good morning from Aygavan, the little village I spent a night in last night. Just bought what I thought was a Coke. It's not, it's some type of wheat soda drink. It was fine. Stark contrast to all the beauty of Armenia, little villages like this. Had a nice night though. Stopped in this little place here. Boris, the owner, maybe a nice cup of thyme tea, and we talked about his family and life and stuff, and he was very nice. Used to be a doctor. Very proud of his family. Apparently he's growing mint in his garden, which will be done in about a month. Alright, so I've got to put some fuel in my car and get this car handed back over. It is a little bit dirty inside, but that's just the way it is. I'm trying my best. It's rainy in Armenia. That's for sure. I am stuck in an Armenian traffic jam, and I'll be honest, I'm a little bit stressed out about it. Well, I dropped my car off. Express car, I would recommend. I left a good review and everything. Then I got a bus into Yerevan city centre for my last day here in Armenia. And I'm trying to find a market. You know, for someone whose sense of direction is famously below average to poor, it's not good. I can follow the hell out of a Google map. What wonders will we find in Vernissage today? Kind of don't know what to expect, honestly. But that's what makes it fun, I suppose. This market's on for a couple hours every day, starting at 12, so it says. Looks like the rain has kept quite a lot of the different stalls closed. But we'll have an up and a down. Is Armenia famous for pomegranates? Because it really feels as though they're famous for pomegranates. That's essentially where we were stopping last night. Look, I'm not going to buy knuckle dusters, but I am going to look. I do kind of want knuckle dusters. Who doesn't? Knuckle dusters and nunchucks. That's all a man really wants. And horned goblets. That's pretty cool.
Armenian design.
Armenian.
Uh-huh.
Are they men or women?
Handmade Armenia. Handmade. Uh-huh.
That's what
Very nice. Uh-huh.
Oh, it does?
Uh-huh.
It does suit me.
This carpet,
Carpet.
120, 130 years old. That carpet.
Oh, really?
Natural carpet. Handwork, natural carpet.
Did I look good in the old carpet hat? I actually think it looked pretty good, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. One of those and one of those.
550.
Thank you. It's a pretty good statue, but one of the reasons to come here is because it's where the guitarist from System of a Down took the photograph right here for his solo album. I've come to Armenia and I've not spoken about System of a Down once. Bloody love some System of a Down. This guy led the Armenians against the Iranians in 400 AD. I think I'm pushing my luck if I'm asking for somewhere dry to sit down. Everybody's going to the party, have a real good time. La 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 la. Jackpot. Overlooking the skate park. Honestly, I'm just kind of sat here thinking about how good System of a Down are. One of my biggest problems when I'm traveling is forgetting to eat, and then when I do eat, I end up just with baked goods all the time. Look at the size of this thing. Is there anything? Oh my gosh, there is something inside. It's full of custard. Anyone who knows, it's a giant profiterole. It's just a giant profiterole. Anyone who knows me knows I have a deep love of custard. Wow, this is a 10 out of 10 situation. There's almost too much custard, which is not a sentence I think I've ever said before. It's all over my face, isn't it? I'm covered in powdered sugar. This is just... I'm so happy. You know, it is a fairly grey and dreary day, and the rain is certainly getting heavier. But it's difficult to be having a bad day when you're eating a giant profiterole filled with custard. That's just the way it is. Alright, I'm not going to eat it now, but I do want to know what my other treat is. Ugh. I'm glad no one's watching me eat this in public. I don't mind you watching me eat this, but it's still warm and it's full of apple and cinnamon, and it's... I couldn't have asked for two better treats. I've made so much mess. Well, that's it for my journey around Armenia from this little humble spot, enjoying my treats. These are so good, I'm very happy about them. Thank you so much for joining me as we've gone round a country that has just really defied expectations. I didn't know what I was getting into with Armenia, but I'm so glad I came. Just the people here have been really wonderful. That's what stands out the most. I want you to be kind to yourself, be kind to someone else, and until next time, onwards and upwards. Bye. Hot damn, this is good.